Indeed, half. Although my rig command is currently broken. Let's fix that. How's everyone doing? So I'm still on the MSI, but I need to add the GPU. So we're on the 1070 HOF, still on the Trident Z RAM, cooling, well, air and chiller anyway. Benches. So I'm going to do Firestrike Extreme to start with. So probably FSE, FSU, TS. Hi Airfault, how are you doing? So there we go. Right. This is what constitutes a lunch for me today. I had a bit of fun setting up cameras. I just got a new clamp so I can mount two cameras above my bench rig. No 8.1. Maybe later on in the stream. Yeah, so the thing with basically this board is I'm moving on from this board for a bit because I don't usually stream on the same platform over and over again, and this is already my third stream on Comet Lake. But from what I can tell, I'm trying to get an answer from MSI, but from what I can tell, there's no Windows 7 support. So the OSs that I can get working on it are 10, Server 2012, and 8.1. No go on XP and 7. So that's a bit restrictive. But yeah, I'm going to start off on Windows 10. We'll see how it goes. The other thing with this 1070 is it was literally just a bench stock for, if anyone remembers, the FX plus dual GPU 3D Mark 11 Country Cup 2019 stage. We had SLI 1070s going just on air because it's so platform limited, so memory and CPU limited. So that's literally, I bought this card, I flew to Adelaide, I left the air cooler on it, and it ran stock. That's all I've done with the card. So that's why I'm going to focus on the card for a little bit. So Time Spy and Firestrike, mostly just doing card OC, and then we'll see how it goes. I mean, I want to see what the platform can do in terms of physics and stuff. Now that I have a good set of RAM that can do, I don't know if you can do this for 3D, but it can do 4800 C14 2T. And actually I did Geekbench 4900 as well. But I just want to quickly save this score, maybe try and validate it. But yeah, if anyone starts talking about how the Apex is so much better, well, I don't necessarily disagree, but I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it straight off. There was only a really limited run of Apexes, and Australia, by all accounts, got a single board. And I know the guy who has the board, but I'd have to break in and steal it from him, and that wouldn't be a very nice thing to do too. FSE or FSX? FSE and FSU. I don't know. Time to riot. Yes, definitely. All right. Let me save this score. I'm curious whether it validates as well. Okay, so we are on some system info 5.29. That's the latest. That's always good news. I am gonna get a processor not recognized in my valid link because it's an ES. It's a P0 stepping ES. But let's save this quickly. And yeah, I mean, it's a great little board. It just has a few. This is extreme, but I will do U as well, ultimate as well. So CPU memory completely at stock. I just want to see the limits of the card first. Again, just on air cooling. I just couldn't be bothered trying to do anything with the cooling. today I've screwed around a bit with my camera setup. I now have a 4-camera setup. I just got a new clamp in, so I actually have two cameras above the desk. So I have my rig cam. Usually I use a tripod as a straight on rig cam, but since this is an ITX board, all you would see, and there's no pod or anything, all you would see would be just a massive Hall of Fame cooler. So that's kind of pointless. So here's my rig cam. See the RAM and everything there. Actually, the GPU covers my diagnostic LEDs as well. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Hopefully, I'll just be able to set some nice and gentle overclocks on the RAM so it doesn't keep on failing. So yeah, you've got the rig cam, room cam. This is how much of a mess my room is at the moment. And I have a desk cam as well, and you can all guess what's under here. What is this? But that's for later. Let's save this. I kind of want to know what I'm setting, so hopefully I can squeeze in Afterburner as well. This is all right. Screenshot utility. So that's 9105. Excuse me. How can you tell? What makes you think it's an Aorus Master? It doesn't even have the heatsink on it. So I saved the file, didn't I? It should validate, but let me try 50 more core actually. So plus 750 on the memory is already getting up there. I don't want to limit the core with memory, so I want to find the core limit. Just a quick render test. See, 2376 on the memory. That's pretty decent. Latest driver, and this is the only thing about this is a 1903 Windows, I think, so it'll have the mitigations in it and stuff, so it might not score very well for even for Windows 7 in stuff like physics and combined. The Z490 Dark is not released yet, to the best of my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I very much doubt it's released. So the Dark on mainstream Intel, on X299 they had a Dark. That was the first Dark, but or the first Dark in the last few years, let's say. But the first mainstream Intel Dark was the Z390 Dark. And that released after the platform release, and the 490 Dark is going to be the same. Okay, so 150 is no good. Let's try 125 maybe. Actually, let's just go down in steps of 10. 140. But I mean, I don't want to badmouth EVGA or anything, but I'm just, from my point of view, I wouldn't buy it. Like, people are putting it in the same category as an Apex, but it's EVGA is such a tiny company. They're doing the best that they can, but given the price point and everything, yeah, I wouldn't buy it. Not saying it's a bad product or anything. I'm sure there are people for whom it's the exact right thing, but you saw in the last generation that what I see. Oh, what memory I see on the card? Good question. I'll try and check. You know, as A2B die was the new benching RAM, the Z390 Dark just, it didn't have bias support for that basically. Oh, you got a Z390 Dark. Interesting. So plus 100 really seems to be the limit. It's saying micron. I don't know. That's, you know, GPU Z can sometimes be a bit weird. But I'd believe it for a 1070. Okay, so let's try this. Will we get a run this time? I wonder which. Yeah, we're not even close, are we? Let's go down 20 megahertz in one go. I mean, this could vary from card to card, but I sort of know Firestrike as a bench where GT1 is much lighter overall on the GPU than GT2. So if we're not even passing the first 5 seconds of GT1, we're not close. Where are you based, Airfault? Because I know in Australia, with shipping and exchange rate, there was, I think EVGA boards are just literally not sold in Australia. There's no representation whatsoever. So I think with shipping and stuff, it ended up being $1,000 board Australian. Hawaii, what island? I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Big Island, and I've been to Maui. I took a flight between them before that airline, I think, went bust. You know, the tiny planes. I know Hawaiian Airlines still flies between the islands, but there used to be like something called West Wings, or can't remember now. Oahu. Well, aloha to you. Must be nice and warm at the moment, middle of summer. Come on, Oahu is the most touristy one. Everyone wants to go to Honolulu and Waikiki and stuff. That got to GT2 at least. Okay. Well, let's try something else. Let's try 100. Right after the run, we're at 30 degrees, so can't be temps. 100 and plus 800. Yeah, I know it's overrated. That's why I didn't go. Not happy at all. You know what? Let's do a restart in case, I don't know, the card needs a bit of a reboot. And let's take the opportunity to set 50 core, 50 on-core overclock at least. And like, I don't know, I'll leave the RAM alone. Let's load this one. Okay, let's go 52, 50. C16. I don't know. DDR 4000. I said I would leave the RAM alone, but 1.5 SA. I don't know. That seems reasonable. I can kind of see the diagnostic LEDs there. Something's lit up. Don't know which one. Now another one's lit up. This is exciting. Sort of blocked by the SATA though. That looks like a post. Okay. Now I feel a little bit better not running absolute garbage. Okay, just make sure all that applied. And then do a stock run just in case there's something funky with the driver or whatever. So 5.2 and 5 and 4000. Shut up, I don't care that control panel isn't found. Yeah, let's just do a full stock run. Hello? Where's the LN2? I did a lot of LN2 streams. You can check the VODs. Actually, what is it? Stream list, I think. So this is Livestream 78. This is a list of all. I've recently reorganized this list of a link to all of the VODs. Let's see. So this was an ambient stream, but 71 was an LN2 stream. 72. This was a non-LN2 stream. Non-LN2. Then there was another LN2. So I had like 3 LN2 streams in the last couple of weeks. Okay, we have a run. Thanks, Airfault, for the sub. Very much appreciated. Oh, Pride Wave. Cool. I might get LN2 next week though. Let's see. The new Twitch layout. I'm still not used to it. Okay. Let me get you. I can't add more VIPs. Well, okay, you should be a VIP now, JJJC. One too many J's, maybe? Firestrike Physics is one of the best, I have to say. Combined, I'm not really sure. It can look a bit choppy sometimes. Then again, there's no good combines around really. If I really think about it, Free Mark 11's combined, it looks like absolute hot garbage. Well, it passes, even physics, but that's not our focus. I have a feeling I was just coincidentally quite close to the edge with this card, so let's actually go back to 750 100 again and see if it even passes with the higher clocks. I don't know what's up with the core though. Which thing are you talking about? Physics or combined? I'm trying to think. So combined, what? So 01 had no physics, 03 had no physics, 05 had no physics, 06 had a computer test, CPU test, two of them actually, and combined, the notion of combined didn't exist yet. Vantage had two CPU tests as well. 11 was the first one with combined, and Firestrike was the last one with combined as well. So I don't know, maybe I think Skydiver actually has combined, and to be honest, of the three, that's my favorite one because it's just the Skydiver character walking like down this corridor with all these weird hammer type things swinging left and right. I think that's a pretty cool combined. Skydiver is a really cool bench. It never really became relevant rankings wise, but it's actually a really nice bench to run. Just a pity it doesn't have enough points to be worth it most of the time. Hey Chu, welcome to the stream. This is air on the card and water, well, chiller on the CPU. There you go. So I just have the stock Hall of Fame cooler on the card at the moment. It's new to me, so I just need to see if, for example, the RAM didn't clock. If the RAM was like stuck at 2200, I just wouldn't even bother putting it on water. I would just sell it. Not sure about the lurker behind the curtain. Don't know what that's referring to, but welcome anyway. Physics is cool. I'll slow down there early on, but yeah. Chiller, that's all I ever run on CPU, to be honest. I don't even have the possibility to run air on a hot chip like this. like on a Sempron or something, I just chuck a Hyper 212 Evo on there. But the 8 and 10 core Intels, they get too hot. It just becomes kind of ridiculous. Haswell is fine on air as well, but I rarely do it because I can, I just have, you can see it here. I just have a screw in each corner, you know. Uh, well, I'm not going to try and point it out, but um, basically there's just two screws of the four are in there. So 103 degrees. Not sure about that one. So we gained 100 points over the last run. So that's nice. I need to set law, don't I? Okay, let's see if I can get that going. That's okay, guys. Up till now, we had nice 1080p signal here coming from this bench, but now it's all going to be a complete mess because I'm going to set loud. Let's try just the regular NB inspector for now. Typhoon Burner never worked on this platform. Getting rid of it. That took a while. So actually, I'm going to do one thing. If I can manage to find. No, actually I can't. Okay. I was trying to set a high performance mode, but actually my control panel is NVIDIA control panel is, for whatever reason, borked. I just reinstalled, so I don't know why. Oh, 6 is nice. This is limited to +3, but that will be enough to see if where's that other thing up here? Replay mode all. The thing about the new benches is it's just, I don't know. Sometimes a different system info version will get you better score and stuff. It's a bit funky. Whereas 01, you know what you're at. So yeah, it is kind of the goat. Even though I have to admit I haven't run it as much as I like to run it. Load screens don't get loud in this bench, do they? Yeah, okay. It applied. Nice. Nah, no Vista for 05. it never. Well, Vista came before 7. 7 kind of replaced Vista for O5 at the beginning, and now it's on Skylake and above, it's 8.1. So on relatively recent GPUs, okay, let's say the 1070 as an example, you would run, well, O1, there's no XP support, so just screw that, but you would run O3 on 7, O5 and O6 on 8.1, Vantage on 7, 3 Mac 11 on 7. Something like this, Firestrike, actually can be a bit of a toss-up. I mean, depending on how good your OS is, sometimes 7, sometimes 8.1, sometimes 10 is the fastest, especially on the AMD side where the 10 drivers are better than the 7 drivers and 8.1 is not supported anymore. But then obviously TimeSpy, you're locked into 10. What other benches are there? Heaven, because of the clock drift fuckery, you have to do on 7, even though I would suspect... No, actually, I think you're allowed on 8.1 and 10. But anytime I see a Heaven Extreme score on 8.1 or 10, I think it's cheated because it's just... I don't think it can possibly be faster. It must just be, you know, easier to cheat. It's a bit of an unfair allegation, I know, but I don't know. That's just my gut feeling every time. Vista, there's very, very particular generations of cards that are new enough to benefit from Vista over XP, but not new enough to have good Windows 7 drivers or have benefit from 7 over Vista. So something like HD 3000 series might do well on Vista, but to be honest, nobody bothers with it anymore. It's just all boiled down to 7 and 8.1 for 3D, pretty much, with a little bit of 10 sprinkled in. I agree. What happened there? Looks like a score without the overclock applied. Okay. Let's reapply our overclock then. Can't really look at the the FPS in the bench anymore with a lot applied. So this was the scores I was getting earlier, just for the GT's part. So good scaling from the memory. Started to flatten out here a bit. If you can notice this, I mean, so these are 50 megahertz steps, so effective. So real in terms of GPU Z reporting would actually be a 25 megahertz step. You're getting about 40 points here, another like 50 something points here, and then here was only 23 extra points. So that's kind of also the reason I stopped at 750 and started applying core. All right, let's watch the bench. But actually, I would like to have a look at the rankings. So Billy is first. So Billy and Afram are on LN2, Moonman on LN2, Olegjus. That's a pretty hefty overclock on just water. Is it Chiller or something? MSI on a 5960X. Interesting. Is he on a really... I don't know what's going on here actually. 10.9K graphics. Fuck. An older driver. Yeah, not exactly sure what's going on there, but must just be a good card. See if frost. No frost on the hoses, but that doesn't mean anything. The pics could have been taken at a different time. Okay, this person, I've seen some dodgy scores from them before, so let's just put that to one side for a second. Chiron dice. Yeah, so Antoma or Total Net would be more, or even Richie. Let's see if we can try. Let's try and crack the 10K. Actually, that would be nice. From what I can tell, it's always been a loose definition, to be honest. So what's Oviz is? I don't know who this Oviz person is. If anyone has any idea who the Swiss person or group of people called Oviz Hardware Lab is, I'd like to know. Okay, we have a score. 9-4. I'm adding it to my list. So plus 3 LOD. So that gave me 200. Yeah, but that's with CPU. Let's say about 200 points just from the LOD. Okay. 5250 CPU. Let's save the score. Should we? Okay, just as a reference point. It's hot garbage, but just as a reference point. So that's 9423. Are you the Chew? Of like XP on Ryzen fame, let's say, amongst other things, of course. So 1.35 V core. Let's just see if we can pass 5.4 physics. Ooh, I already had an instance open. Oh, welcome. Nice to have you on the stream. You have a lot of good scores, mate. And I can understand your attitude. It's not an attitude that I share, but I know exactly where you're coming from. There's certainly some things in the benching world that piss me off. Okay. Okay, how does that compare to the previous physics? Got about 400 points out of it. 5.5, I really doubt it's gonna pass. But let's give it a little bit more encore. Okay, Chu, you should have VIP now too. Although I have to admit, I don't really know what VIP does on Twitch. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay, we had a hang. Maybe it just needs a little bit more V-core. I should be able to go to 1.4 without overheating. Yeah, I mean, I think you, JJJ, I think you already heard from some sources the reasons why 1070 700s are not as good. Also, this is an ES chip, so this is probably on average a little bit better than a retail 10900K. But that's just Intel. They have this monolithic die, which makes binning harder. Basically, AMD can bin chiplets. It's so easy to put together a really nice 16 core whatever just with chiplets. But on the Intel side, when you have a chip that has no defects, a working iGPU, working IMC, and every single core passes the very light binning process they have, then you just sell it, whether it's any good or not, Whereas on the AMD side, they can just use the same chiplets down to whatever it is, whatever the lowest chip is now, 3100 or whatever it's called. Okay, so 1.35 was no good, so let's go 1.375 and try 52 encore again. That's better. Always a bit weird how encore and core are tied on this architecture. I mean, I'm sure there's good reasons for it, but okay, next time we'll just go 1.4 V-core. I've run 1.4 V-core through GPU Pi 1B and W prime, so I think physics is a little bit lighter than that. I can also reduce the temp on my chiller. Right. Let's go 1.4. I don't get it. Must be a bug with the actual program itself. Okay, let's just do it straight from BIOS. I mean, it passes Firestrike physics. It can't be unstable. There's just no way. Maybe just the combination of... What I'll do is I'll actually... yeah, I'll boot the core at 54. And then if it won't let me set 5.2 on core, then maybe it is really I don't know, but I've set up to 5.3 on core before. Not very bench stable, but the 8700K I have is crazy. You can do on chiller, you can do 5.7 core and 54 on core, I think, or 55 for some stuff even. Why is it please wait? I don't want to wait. Need to clean up my mess. Really need to clean up my mess. But I've just been doing too much benching. Okay, so that's 5.4 booted. At 1.3 actually. Okay, it's just the program being dumb. A quick physics. I like my benching room though. I have natural light coming in. I can, if I ever need to drain a block, a water block, I just go out on the balcony and drain it there. If I ever need to dry anything, I put it out on the balcony. I have a sofa here. Sometimes you need to just have a lie down after a long benching session. Got all the amenities. All right, let's see what we get here. Keep collecting. Now, here we go. Exciting. We have a run, guys. $25.2K. Okay. Good gains. Good gains there. Let's just have a look. Sometimes it can be funny. Sometimes GTs can be harder to pass than physics, especially Encore, believe it or not. So let's do a full run with those settings. Not sure why I'm checking this, but all right, full run. Okay, while that's all loading up, so it's going to be the same, but we're going to go 54, 52. Be interesting to see the gain in the GTs. So this is kind of okay. So 30K physics on a 9900K, that is concerning. Oh, 5.6 core. Okay. Let's try and find a physics target that's not completely out of reach, you know. Oh, this is a 16 core. That's gonna be tough. Maybe PKBO, even though he's one of the water that's not really water people. Threadripper. The hell? Threadripper for 3D. 40K physics. Okay. Oh, is this the Bruno? Okay, let's try the Bruno. Nah, that's Haswell. I just need something that isn't HEDT. 9900K on dice. Not really realistic. Looking for a bencher that isn't completely random. Okay, let's go Nata. So 9900k at 5.2. Okay, if I can't beat this, then I'm just terrible bencher. 28k physics. Well, that is Windows 8.1. Yeah. One core less, terrible memory. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. 8.1 seems to be required. For sure. Can I beat him in the GTs? Not even that. Okay. I'm going to start. At this point, I think I'm going to start a restore of 8.1. Not sure I can use my server 2012 OS. Which of these many SSDs do I want to restore over? I'm not quite sure what's on here. This says Z490 8.1, but I don't really trust it. Let's see what's actually on there. I should really be showing you this. Oh. Okay, this has some sort of random XP on it, so I can definitely install over that. Why does that score look bad? What dropped? It's only by 20 points, but that's still concerning. Worst GTs. Only marginally better physics. And worst combined. Must just be run-to-run variance. Let's attempt 25 more memory. Core seems maxed for some reason, but oh, I forgot to mention Aquamark. Aquamark is an 8.1 bench now too, by the way. They took away globals though. That was nasty. So JJJ, while you were gone, yeah. Obviously, my RAM is way too loose, but JJJ, basically, what happened in the last few years was they took away global points on PyFast. Hopefully, I'm remembering this right. PyFast 1M, W prime 32M, so it's only 1024M that's left. And then there used to be globals for Cinebench 11.5 and 15. Now there's just 15. On the 3D side, I think Heaven Extreme used to have globals or world record points. It doesn't anymore, just harbor points. And they took away globals from Aqua, which is a bit of a sore point. Yeah, I think one of the big things hurting my physics is the spectre mitigations and things. I might just, once I find the max GPU clocks on this, I'll change to another OS. Sorry, I'll run TimeSpy first and then switch to another OS. starting to artifact a bit. I don't think there's much more memory in this. I don't know. I could try another 25. A drive duper. What do you mean? I have a drive duper. I mean, I have a SATA to USB adapter, multiple. Yeah, sorry. 06 is a big one. People don't. It's weird. I mean, so I think on the 2D side, SATA to SATA. Okay, it's like a drive caddy you attach to your system, or how does it work? On the 2D side, there's a lack of single threaded benches now because PyFast and 1M were taken away. Ever so slightly faster. Let's save it. Yeah, please link it. Links are allowed in chat. So now, something that I've neglected so far was power and temp limit maxed. So during render test, what are we getting in terms of power limits? %, TDP. Okay, that doesn't seem like it's gonna make a difference. Let's combine that with ThermSpy actually. And see, maybe those combined give me a few points. You saw green. Okay, so while these runs are a bit short, I should have probably done like heaven or something so I can talk more while the run is going on. So this is an old subject, and I don't think Hybridbot is ever gonna do a backflip on this decision. But they had the motivation of trying to take away some benches they thought at the time, and this is Frederick actually, who isn't at Hybridbot anymore, or is very much in the process of leaving, of selling. The idea was that, which was correct, that there were basically too many benches with global points. So they basically sort of looked at the relative popularity of everything, and for the 2D benches were like, okay, W prime 32M is a crapshoot, 1024M is more consistent, let's take away one of them. On the Cinebench side, they were like, okay, 11.5 and 15 are too similar. 11.5 is older, doesn't scale as well with threads and so on. Let's keep the newer version. So far, so good, in my opinion. I have absolutely nothing, no complaints about those. There are plenty of there are plenty of multi-threaded 2D benches available anyway. Actually, what I forgot to mention as well was I think either X265 had no globals or it had globals for both 1080p and 4K. But then they decided to give globals to 4K because they anticipated that with increasing core counts, 4K would be a more and more realistic bench to run cold, basically, because it wouldn't take as long anymore. And they were right. You know, now with 10 cores, you're talking like a runtime of a minute and a half or something. So those are all great. I think they also at some point introduced GPU Pi 1B globals, which wasn't the case when I joined. Also a great bench because it uses AVX, it uses a different instruction set. It you know, it's just a different bench to optimize than just your regular core benches. But for the legacy stuff, they kept globals for frequency, which that would have been a riot if they would have taken that away, I think, even though the top of the leaderboard is very static because you have Andre Yang or somebody at 8.7 gigahertz, which is just untouchable. But then here comes the contentious part, in my opinion. You used to have globals for PiFast, 1M and 32M, and they're classic benchmarks. And in my opinion, you can tell me I'm wrong, but in my opinion, PiFast and 1M are a little bit similar because they're short single-threaded benches that like memory tuning and so on. So it would have been acceptable, in my opinion, to get rid of one of them. Maybe 1M because 32M is in the ranking, and have PiFast and 32M. But they actually got rid of the two of the three, which, okay, that's didn't increase the score at all. What's next? Let's just run. Basically, let's just run time spy at these settings. Let's try for physics first, because it can be different. Yeah, exactly. So with an asterisk. So they did at one point introduce Geekbench 4 single core. But my argument is, and you can disagree with me here, but my argument is it's not a single threaded bench, because the thing is with 32M, if you have a nicely stripped XP, you can downcore all the way down to 1 core and still get a decent score. I wouldn't say it's optimal, but it's certainly possible, especially on older platforms. Geekbench 4 single core, there's 2 reasons why that's a bad idea. First of all, the score sucks on single core. So the single core, so basically what you do with Geekbench 4 is, so that passed, let's do a full run. No demo. With Geekbench 4, you can't select, even when you have a key, when you've paid for the key, you can't select certain subtests to run individually. So when you run Geekbench 4, it's always the whole hog. So you could be running it for multi-core and the single core will still run. You can run it for single core and the multi-core still runs. So that then means you can't downcore to 1 core because the score just implodes. So you've got to downcore to like 2 cores, 2 threads, or 4 core, 4 threads. But then that's fine for your single core component. But then you've got to consider that your multi-core component still runs after single core. So either you like downclock in OS really quickly, which is really hard to do, or you have to basically make concessions towards the multi-core part of the test, part of the bench, even though all you're benching for, the number you're trying to increase is a single core one. So people will be like, oh, well, it's still a single threaded bench. There's so many weird aspects to it that, yes, it is the more single threaded of the 2 Geekbench 4s, Geekbench 4 ranking categories, but it's still not a single threaded bench in my opinion. So it's a bit fucked. So that's the only other single threaded that you get globals for. And I guess you could argue, I don't know, CPU Z validation isn't really a bench to begin with, but if you consider that to be a bench, then you could sort of argue that that's a single threaded bench. But yeah, that's the only 2D bench that still gets globals is 32M, and that's a real shame, you know, because that means then that all the big players can focus on that, and it's really hard to ever get a world record. Okay, so we obviously need to downclock a little bit for Time Spy because it's more memory heavy. So yeah, I mean, people really like Geekbench, so they like defending it, and I mean, I don't personally like Geekbench running it. It's just a personal preference, but I like what it represents in the rankings. It's variety, you know. It's very different to a Cinebench or a 32M. So from that aspect, absolutely great to include it in the rankings, but it's not a good substitute as a single threaded bench to PyFast and 1M. And then the counter argument to that would be, well, what is the real world relevance of a single threaded bench anymore? None of this stuff is really all that real world relevant. So I err on the side of variety and good benches, fun benches to bench. And for me, 1M and PyFast sorely missed. Maybe not both of them, like I said. I think only one of them would have been fine. But yeah, weird. They oversimplified. I think there was even a poll run, and people don't really get PyFast and 1M, so they didn't really vote for it as much, because at the time there was also a little bit of a threat of maybe even 32M being removed from the rankings. So I think people just voted 32M. Oh, let's definitely keep 32M, and just the classics, and then we ended up with this. Okay, so let us clock down the memory by 100 for sure. Ooh, was my... oh no. Let's try 700. And we do need to undo our LOD, because that will then make this... So funny thing here, even though LOD does not apply on Time Spy, unless you really like you're trying to exploit the bench, you have to do something else on top of it. Having it set is detected by system info, and that then makes the link, the validation file, invalid. So I have to undo it. Where's my NV inspector? Yeah, sorry, I was mixing it up a little bit. So Geekbench 4 has like 2 passes, and I think one pass is single threaded, the other is multi-threaded. So Geekbench 4, if you pay attention, the hell? Maybe I need to down core the CPU, or down clock the CPU rather. Let's do it from BIOS. Yeah, so in Geekbench 4 you'll have like Lua, and then a whole other lot of benches, sub tests, and then Lua will come up again. So I think it basically does each bench single and multi-threaded. Geekbench 3 is a much shorter bench, and you're right, there's no second pass. So I'm not really sure how it derives a single threaded score. it must maybe even run them just like one after the other and just call that the same bench. I don't know how it does it, to be honest. But in either case, most of my points still stand. What I'm trying to say is you will still apply a multi-threaded workload. So I suppose on some systems you can get around that by putting some downclocking some cores and upclocking some other cores and stuff, but yeah, it's just not clean. Yeah, 1M and PyFast were cool for raw frequency, but I have to say that there's a much more tweaking to them than you might think. So Waza works on 1M, and OS optimization works like crazy on 1M as well, and I never really got it until like it took me a while to realize that. I always thought, yeah, you just whoever's in first for 1M, you just match their settings and you just keep rerunning until you beat them. But you kind of need a separate to really seriously run 1M. You need to separate OS to 32M. It's very, very different. Different max mem, different optimizations. It's very different. Oh shoot! I need to apply my encore. Yeah, so I need to for God's sake, what is this fucking crap? Okay, let's see if we can do a run with the card at stock at 53.52. So yeah, there's a lot more to them than meets the eye kind of thing, which makes it an even bigger shame that they got removed. Maybe bump the V-core ever so slightly. So the state of XP support is actually not as bad as you might think. Ooh, can I post? Can I post that? Come on, board, you can do it. There's the RGB. Hey, Bullant. Yeah, Waza will help. It actually helps in PyFast as well, believe it or not, sometimes. Is this a slow boot or a complete failure of a boot? Oh man, okay. Maybe I'll just leave the encore alone for now then. Hi, thanks Iraka NZ for your follow. I hope I'm pronouncing that okay. Let's see if I can get a VIP for Bullant. Okay, there we go. All right. This one more try to get the encore up. I shouldn't be trying this hard, but about soldered PS2 ports. Once this run is started, I'll show you something. Yeah, XP support is much better than people give it credit really. Stavros, aka OGS, has done a lot to modernize the XP images floating around, basically, to the point now where would argue we have better XP support now than we had on Z390 on launch. If you can remember, the Apex 10 on launch didn't have XP support. Or sorry, I think I might be mixing it up. So the 9 had on launch, 10 I'm not sure about, 11 didn't. Both the Gene and the Apex didn't have XP support on launch. And we now have an Apex 12 that has XP support on launch. So it's getting better, if not, if anything. Okay, so let's check out this desk cam. So it is a masterboard. What a dirty desk. Oh my god, kind of embarrassing. The run is working, by the way. So in here we've got a P1 ES. So I'm completing my collection. I've got a P0 ES in the current rig, and there's a P1 ES in here. This only arrived from Taiwan yesterday, so I literally have only booted up the board, and that's it. And here's the board. I had to take off the IO shield because it got a little bit bent in shipping, so I thought I'd be safe and take that off. And you kind of see that. Here's our soldered on PS2 ports. Easy. That's how you get your XP support in 2020. XP is never gonna die. Come on, guys. Yeah, so we've got voltage read points on there as well. They're sort of above the dim slots here. So there's a few things I'd like to do to the board. Jump on eBay, yeah. I mean, I could probably send you high res images of it. You can see all of the cables going from there under the chipset. I haven't taken the chipset cover off yet. So yeah, should have XP support. It is a 4-dimmer, but for multi-core benches and stuff, it'll be sweet. A little bit of a shame that we're still stuck on 3-way, but that's how it goes sometimes. Not sure if I'm allowed to stream on this yet. I'll have to ask permission for a few things. I just arrived yesterday, so I didn't even consider it for today. But DRGB. So we're on to CPU test here. So no, I don't have any retail 1090K. In Australia, they've been going in and out of stock so much. I wouldn't consider buying the chip either, to be honest. The chip currently in the system I got from Intel, and then obviously here this board and chip combo came from Gigabyte. Yeah, no, just no. I have to say, I mean, I didn't really anticipate doing much for this launch, but just caught a few lucky breaks, I suppose, and now I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the insanely good IMCs, 4800 C14. I mean, before the launch of this platform, my top memory validation single channel like CL31 was 4.5 gigahertz on Kaby Lake. Now I'm benching dual channel 4900 C14 in some benches. It's just completely insane. Okay, let's apply an overclock. That seems to have applied, and let's just rebench. Permission is overrated. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Is that your motto? Yeah, my secrets are safe. Nah, I'm sure I'll work something out. It's all good. Just I mean, I didn't have the platform ready anyway to begin with now, so rather than embarrassing myself trying to get the BIOS working and stuff, I have to, you know, get GTL going, get XP going, figure out the memory OC on that board, that kind of thing. Okay, my 8.1 is ready. Let's have a look at, this is a while ago, but let's have a look at this hardware duplicator. Ooh. Interesting. 160 US dollars. Okay. Are you gonna be active this platform, Bulance? You're a really good 32M bencher, so anything you, especially cold RAM. A lot of people don't bother with cold RAM anymore, but you do it on all platforms. 1156, 1366, AM3. Just I respect that. Cooler just fell on. Okay. Stranger things have happened. Oh, like a VHS duplicator. TimeSpy, you know what? The problem with TimeSpy is it's on Windows 10. It would be interesting to try and get TimeSpy working on Windows 7 because so the reason it's Windows 10 is DirectX 12, but many years after the release of DirectX 12, they actually backported DirectX 12 to Windows 7. Okay, I'm gonna completely have to rejig my overclock here. Let's do like plus 100 plus 500. Do you remember that? I think it was like for some versions of World of Warcraft or something, but there is technically limited DirectX 12 support on Windows 7 now, and I just wonder. Why did my rig just reboot itself? Okay, the block is cold. I'm not having some sort of flow issue. You know, I mean, wouldn't TimeSpy potentially be faster on Windows 7? It wants me to use the gigabyte board. Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's maybe leave the Encore. The Encore seems to be giving me much more trouble than it's worth. So let's leave the Encore OC out. Just an easy 5.3 and 5 gigahertz Encore. And let's have a look at shut up. The sensor tab for GPU. I have the half on 100% fans. There's always that little button at the on the back IO that can let you just set 100% fans in hardware instead of software. So that's nice. So what do you want to see, guys? Next few streams, I want to get away from Comet Lake. It's proving hard. It's addictive. Like, would you rather see a stream on the Gigabyte and do a little bit of 1M or whatever, like 4900 RAM 1M, and a little bit of 32M or something? Or should I reintroduce a little bit of variety? Maybe Ryzen first gen, socket A, you know, all that crazy stuff. I have a new 939 board, you know, DDR1, 2, 3, XT. I don't have an XT. What? XT is a non-event, I think. I'm not a big fan of Ryzen 3000 series to begin with, so for me it's all about 1000 and 2000 series. Okay, let's just try this overclock again. And just a quick render test. Seems alright. CPU is showing 29 degrees. Should be fine, no? So yeah, Ryzen was the first platform I benched properly on cold. So I'm very fond of the 1000 series. And the 2000 series was the first platform where I benched an ES chip on launch. So that was nice too. 3000 series, I decided against getting a chip on launch. So I got a 1600 on launch for the 1000 series and a 2600 on launch for the 2000 series. I was planning on getting a 3600 non-X, just sort of as a tradition to follow what I did in the other ones. But I saw the initial cold results and was a bit scared by this whole notion of having to torch up from full pot to like -5 to be able to post and all that craziness. So I did bench it for Country Cup 2019 just because it was required, for Cadzilla and for Cinebench 15 single, but I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. What's a Phenom 2? Yeah, so for the ranking, sorry, I kind of got back, you know, off track there, but so I covered the 2D rankings aspect. I kind of hope that they don't modernize it even more. Like, they might replace Cinebench 15 with 20 or something. I think that would be terrible. What the hell is going on here? GT2, please run. Okay, this window is going to screw with things. So there was an Explorer notification that interrupted the bench. Always triggers me when 3D Mark shows you a 0-point score, but it's like, this is a valid score. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. It's a 0 score. So that's the 2D aspect of benching. Healthy on the multi-threaded side because we have X265 4K, we have Cinebench 15, we have W Prime 1024M, and we have Geekbench 3 Multi. So that's a really broad range of multi-threaded benches. Too light on the single-threaded side of things. JJJ, I do agree kind of with you that maybe globals for frequency should go away, but then again, frequency is a bench that is so fundamental to overclocking. It's like the root of overclocking is first getting the frequency out. So I don't know, I'm sort of in two minds. On the 3D side, we started off with Aqua 01, 03, 05, 06, Heaven, Firestrike, Firestrike Extreme, Ultra, Time Spy. Am I missing something? Oh, 3D Mac 11 Performance and Vantage. And they decided to get rid of Aqua and 06. And that's, yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. Like there's all this bad blood around the Aquamark SLI tweak that somehow people think is this massive mystery of how to get a better score on SLI on like 980s. And people just feel that Aquamark is this very, very tweakable, like, or sorry, very cheatable bench, which I think that's an underserved opinion, to be honest, or a reputation. I don't know. Yeah, frequency. I kind of understand where you're coming from. It is a lame thing to bench because you're literally just increase VCore, increase FSB by 1, hit F7, crash, reboot, get down to temps again, increase. You know, it's. I mean, there's more skill to it than what meets the eye, kind of thing. But I'd be okay if it didn't have globals. I think a lot of people just completely ignore it anyway, in spite of it having globals. They just, you know, get one HG result out and then happy days. But a 9950 to 4 gigahertz. How was your? I haven't done much Phenom 1 benching at all, but I do have a few Black Editions here. How was the cold bug on that chip? Were there any voltages to lower the cold bug or anything, or was it just plus like, you know, minus 20 cold bug and that's it? Yay, we got all the way to physics. Six, seven, nine. No idea if that's good or bad. 8K is first place. What's up with the scaling on this site? Okay, here we go. 6, 7, 9. £17. That's not absolutely terrible. Yeah, Phenom first. From all I've heard, Phenom first gen is kind of like the Sandy Bridge, AMD's Sandy Bridge. Okay. Let's push our GPU memory. I wish there was just a rerun button in 3D Mark. Please rerun this bench. Okay, so where's this X world record of yours? So it was an 06, I think. There we go. 14 comments is always. Oh no, you changed your avatar. I actually like that Dexter one. So this is the next world record then. Yeah, that would do it. Haswell at 6.3 is it's pretty high up there. I love looking at old rig pics and stuff. Okay, let's try an ID. Come on, just open the. Okay, I think we can see it here. Looks like an F1 and a kingpin fat running VGA. Were you running high refresh, or just because the cards are not cold? Hold on, I don't get it. Why is one card cold and one card not? Did that work? I'm really confused now. So you would card and it's the secondary card as well. Why is the secondary card cold and the primary not? I have so many questions. Oh, I had no air cooler. Okay. That explains everything. Sell me that CPU. No, that seems like a nice low voltage chip. Mine all need 1.8 or above to go anywhere. I have Bob NZ's old 4770K. It probably would do that. Well, did you downclock for the CPU tests? 6.3 through CPU, that would be impressive. Nice, bench it. Do you still have a board for it? I can lend you a board. I have plenty of boards for Haswell. I live in the same city as Dino, and I've seen his collection of AM3 chips, and there's no 955 in there, but maybe Young Pro has it. Oh, you have the LN2 board, nice. Yeah, that was only 30 points, but let's keep going. Another 100 on the memory. I mean, this score is really, really bad. But this is what my chip does. Coincidentally. So 6.8 through 32M, and that was on bad paste actually. Maybe it would probably pass 6.9. And it did, what did it do? 1M. I think it did 7G 1M, but actually a different run was faster. Where's my 7G run? I think I subbed it. Maybe not. Anyway, and it does 5. That's the obscene thing about 32M as well. It does 5 gigahertz CPU North Bridge. And I think, I mean, I didn't see much scaling, but it like booted 5.2 or something ridiculous like that. Fail. Okay. That was a GT2 fail, I think. Let's try 650. Is it literally this chip you're talking about, Shu? This 7.2 chip? Okay, so you had another good one. You must have done a lot of binning back in the day. .606. So is it this chip? I have a really nice balanced 965 Black Edition that does 6.6 W prime and stuff. It's getting cold in here. Yeah, what happened to that? They just swallowed up the chip and never did anything on it. I got some Hynix as well. That's Gigabyte Aorus. Sort of looks like A2 B-die, but it's actually Hynix. So that'll be fun. I think that does alright for frequency, doesn't it? Max frequency on cold. Hopefully I'm not mixing it up with the other IC manufacturer, Micron. I think both of them do pretty good on frequency. Yeah, memory on cold is pretty cool. I need to get back into that. Which actually will be interesting on Comet Lake. Okay, I think I'll just try a little bit more core, and after that I'll just save the score and go on to 8.1. Let's shut her down. Come on, rig. All right, new OS is in there. I'm texting Young Pro right now, actually. Okay, so that's a highly inappropriate wallpaper, but so nice. Let us begin by doing a DDU. I want to compare like for like on the drivers. The Team AU black hole. Whatever. Hey, Chu, question to you. I've done a lot of AM3 on LN2. What I could never work out is, do the minor voltages matter? Is it just V core to get the highest core frequency? Because a lot of the boards have repoints for VDDA and stuff and PLL, but I've never gotten any scaling out of any of the minor voltages. Like, or Bulans as well. Like, do you ever touch the minor voltages? Because I know my 955 will do 7G just with VCore, but maybe it's a 7.1G chip if I just figure out the minor voltages. I know on AM3 Plus the minor voltages do matter, but AM3 is a different architecture. So raising or lowering, and which voltage gives you scaling? Less PLL. Okay. Thanks for that tip. I'm writing that down straight away. Ah, so it's just a heat thing. Okay. But then on single threaded, that doesn't really work. Well, I mean, it doesn't do as much as maybe for W prime. That could be really good. You mean CPU NB voltage? Okay. Yeah, yeah. I leave that on stock. I always leave CPU NB on stock, unless I need it to boot a higher multiplier. And on AM3 Plus, that's really obvious because you have 8 cores, like so really high TDP. So there, I saw, for example, in Cinebench at like 2.1 V core at 7.6 gigahertz. You have to be really careful with the CPU and beat voltage because it adds heat. I could see it on my probe. I could see, minus 183 idle, and then with stock CPU NB, it might be minus 175 under load. With CPU NB pushed, it might be minus 170 or minus 169 under load. That the reduced heat part, I understand. I just thought that maybe you could push PLL or VDDA or whatever it's called to get more core. Thanks. So we need a more modern GPU Z. Okay. Okay, I need to install a library. I think this works offline. Hopefully it does. Okay, well, screw all that then. I need a capture utility and I need the bench itself. This is so best was MSI. So what was good about MSI? Did it have the best VRM, best like highest frequency VRM or what? I need a CPU Z as well, of course. Oh no. That one's alright. What's slacked? Never heard of this expression before. Clock per clock. Now I don't really remember what my other score was. I should probably hook up the drive and pull it out. Wrong drive. Where's the other drive? Here. Doesn't want to mount the drive for some reason. Newegg has stock. Okay, I'd like to see that. Interesting. Very interesting. I might. Ah, man. Let's just try and beat the other score without Laud then. hold on. That also already seems to be the latest. That's good. Yeah, let's have a look at this score. Nine 433, and was that plus 100 plus 775, and at 5.4 5.2. Okay, so 775. I probably shouldn't be applying all this without first making sure I can apply the CPU clock. Hopefully we can just fix it by installing the management engine. Fuck. Okay, what about this? All right, let's just run it. What's BGS? Okay, I just need to quickly insert some keys here. There we go. Bank group swap. Okay, never heard of that. Yeah, Horizon can be a bit buggy sometimes. Well, this is certainly interesting, isn't it? That's less core, no LOD, same driver, and it's got basically 10k more physics. So here, this is the Windows 10 score, 25k, and the Windows 8 score on a lower frequency is 10k more physics. Nice. Well, that settles that then. Let's try FSU. Yeah, I mean my RAM is horribly loose, but it's like for like comparison. That's what I mean, it's the same with anything, right? I mean, obviously my GPU overclock is not great because I'm using the stock cooler, you know. Um, that's the only thing that's anywhere near maxed is GPU memory and CPU core. On-core can definitely improve, memory can improve, and GPU core can improve. I have a feeling that the 1903 version of Windows 10 is especially bad for physics. Let's have a look at some FSU results. Oh, Whiteshack ran it on dice. Nice. Hopefully we can get somewhere around 5k. Don't look at that. Come on, we all know that it's sometimes hard to run something on cold. Ah, that's a nice pot though. I like that pot. Very square looking. Have you figured, White Shark, have you figured out, have you like connected the EVC2 to this card? Or have you done a power mod or anything? Okay, I'm around 5,000, that's nice. So that's a 25 pointer. EVC, so what control does the EVC give you? Full core mem, yes, but I mean, does it also let you disable OCP and stuff? Okay, I'm gonna go to the trouble of at least maxing my core, maybe the on-core as well. Let's try 51 on core. Is there any OVP? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, ignoring power limits for a second, let's assume an infinite power limit. What would you be able to set any voltage on the core and have the card sustain that? $2.3. That's a good way to RMA a card. Okay, good to know. All right. I'm still a bit suspicious of this core being so low. Let's try 110. Yeah, that's true. So you can mid GT. If you're seeing slow frames, you can set the vid lower, and then if the frames go up, you know that you have some sort of power OCP OVP issue. Man, that Apex is tempting. It's like the same price as this ITX board. Hey, Wizard, if you're ever in doubt about what I'm benching, just do an exclamation mark rig. Yeah, just not happy, is it? Okay, let's do a regular fire strike run. Actually, let's yeah, let's do a regular fire strike first. And while that's loading, let's look at White Shark's regular fire strike. What's a fun fact? That is a fun fact. Oh, Phantom Gaming. That's a shame. I was wondering why we were at under 4,000 memory. No, I don't think I've maxed my power slider actually. I like this GT. It's very sort of artistic almost. GT1 is a bit dumb, just flying through a canyon. Wow, 2.5 hours already. Time flies when you're having fun. What's the 06 record on this? Why is it so low? 8600K. Interesting. So 19.5K. Good for like 20 points. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try one thing. I'm going to go use the same timings and go to 4400 RAM and just see how that affects physics. But if it doesn't post, I think that's the end of the stream. I really do need to have lunch at 4 p.m. Can hardly even call that lunch anymore. Might be a bit low on the VCC SA, to be honest. I think it flipped to the second light. Two a.m. dinner. Is it posting? Is it not? Oh yeah. Okay. Quick little experiment. Where are you at to 2 a.m.? You must be like West Coast US or something? Or East Coast? I don't know. My maths are a bit off. Two p.m. Yes. Western Australia. The land of the expensive liquid nitrogen. Chuck Norris. Oh yeah, I think the FPS are a little bit higher. $34.4 as opposed to 34.2. Okay, let's do one quick fire strike rerun. $2.50. Feels bad, man. $3.30. I mean, including delivery, I'll probably pay about $1.50. Pure cost per liter is more like $1. Ah, man. Well, Dewars do take up a lot of space, so I can't really blame you for that. 110 liters, that's impressive. I have about 100 liters. I have two 35s and a 20 and an 18 and a 10. Sorry, a 20 and a 10. So yeah, 105, about 105 liters. That's a good amount. It fills up the back of my car fully, so I wouldn't really want any more than that. Yeah, so no stream this Wednesday, I don't think. Probably next week, maybe a little bit of LN2. Two times 110. So how many Dewars do you have? Because I hate the 50-liter Dewars. Can't lift it. I'm too unfit to lift that. Tell him you're a world-class professional overclocker and that you acquire a cheaper LN2. I think that usually works. Taiwan time. So you could chat with friends or live stream or what? Yeah. Didn't increase at all. The hell? A little bit better physics. Tiny bit worse GTs. Worse combined as well. Okay. Oh, bias support on LN2. So wait, you actually literally have a 110 liter pressurized Dewar? One single one? Yeah, I found 35 liters really restrictive, but once I got um a second Dewar, it was like diminishing returns. I only bought the 10 liter at the end because it was $50. I think I got a 35 and an 18, and then I got another 35. Could have stopped earlier, but all right. Well, I need to sort my OS out. I need to get NV Inspector working. I need to basically just image a different 8.1. And yeah, I mean the card seems alright. I don't know, the core doesn't seem great. I might sell it, to be honest. It's a lot of hardware points, but I have so many cards. If it's not a good bin, may as well just sell it. No pressure. Interesting. Good times back then. Okay. As much fun as it's been, I'm gonna end the stream now. I may mess with my new toys over here later on, but now I just need a break, a bit of chill out time, a little bit of lunch of some description, and yeah, I guess not this coming Wednesday. The Wednesday after will be, at the very latest, I'll have a stream. Thanks all for hanging out. It's been good fun having some of the old timey benchers around. Yeah. See you later.